that. Okay, and invite. I want to see what our contacts join. Okay, this is meeting number. Yeah, it's a different meeting number than what I had in the email. Ah, weird. I thought I copied it from the same place. Okay. Copy invitation. Copy that and move this back out of the way. Okay, give me a second here. I'm going to email the group back out because evidently I had sent them. I got to start my Zoom session over and get rid of all these other ones I had made up in the past. And we go back to email and let me see, send. I can do this from my phone actually. Let me just go back to here. Okay. All right, we'll let you get started and I can do this from my phone so we don't lose track of time. All right, everybody, we're gonna have two presentations tonight and you wanna now get a little background here on, I don't really have a good way of coming up with pronunciation. You wanna give us your name because my pronunciation will probably butcher it.
Oh yeah, no problem. Hi everyone, my name is Anurag. I'm a Python developer from Cleveland. Sean invited me to do a presentation for, so I'm here. Thank you so much for having me. So yeah, I'm just gonna share my screen if that's cool, and then
let me hang on.
Okay.
Turn that on. Okay, there you go. What do you want? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of us are old.
Old and can't hear.
I
Huh?
know I can't read.
Oh, hang on. Oh, that's already up. I got to turn the speakers up on the computer. That's where issue wise.
All right.
There we go. All right.
There you go. All right, so. Okay, folks. So I'll be talking about awk, just like a basic introduction. I did that at the Cleveland Python meetup, I think in October or September, something like that. Awk, or is it Gawk, Bawk? There are so many names for it. Knock, mock, jock, talk. So like I said, my name is Anurag. I'm a Python developer. I also run the Cleveland Python meetup with a couple of other folks. And we meet virtually every second Monday of the month. So our next meetup is on December 13th, and we are on clippy.org. And if you are interested, you can also just look us up on the meetup.com page. Or if you just go to clippy.org, it will take you to the meetup.com page. So awk is a domain-specific language for text processing. It's used for data extraction. It is similar to sed and grep, and the name awk comes from these three folks who wrote it in 1977: Aho, Weinberger, and Kernighan, and that's why it's called awk. There are multiple implementations of awk. Depending on your operating system, you may already have awk installed. If you're running a Unix installation of sorts, given that this is the Akron Linux users group, I'm sure you do. There is already GNU awk on, I believe it's on Ubuntu. I think it's also available on a couple of other distributions I can't remember on top of my head. But yeah, there's awk already available. And then on a Mac, if you're on a Mac, you can install GNU awk. If you use brew, then you can just do brew install gawk, and it would do it for you. So that's all the presentation I have about awk. But what we'll do is we'll go to the terminal. If someone can tell me if the font size is good enough or not.
That's good enough. That's good. Yep.
Okay, cool. So the easiest way to check if I have awk or not is to just, which awk will tell you the location of awk, or you can also do awk version. There you go. That's the awk I'm running. I'm running 5.0.1. I can also go like any other Linux program. I can look at the manual by just looking at the man page and get all my help from there. So we can, the most basic thing we can do is we can pipe output to awk. And so I'm just going to paste this little snippet instead of typing it, just make it quicker. So yeah, I have this line and I'm going to pipe it to awk, and I'm telling awk to go ahead and print. And so it's just going to go ahead and print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, what if I go ahead and say print 1? Oh, 1. That prints the first character in that string, which is 1. If I do 2, I'll print 2. If I do 3, I'll do 3. Now what happens if I run print 0, for example? It prints everything. So in case of awk, it refers to each line as a record and each column as a field. So this is one single record, but then each column is a field. And so I can then say, okay, well then print me multiple things. I can say print $1, $2, and let's say $, not percentage, $5. There you go. And so I get 1, 2, and 5 as the output. So, all right. So I, for the purposes of this presentation, downloaded this file called book reviews that it's a TSV file. So if I show you just the top, I'm just going to zoom out for a second. But yeah, so I have this file called book reviews. It's got things like market. It's essentially it's a collection of Amazon book reviews. So I've got marketplace, customer ID, review, product ID, parent, title, category, star rating, votes, verified purchase, review headline, body, and review date. So it's a TSV file. Actually, we can open it up as well. I should have done this earlier. Go. Right, because Excel does not know what TSV is. Over here, open. Browse. There you go. Sorry about this. There it is. Okay, delimited. My data has headers. Other. Oh, tab. Where's tab? Oh, right there. All right, cool. Yeah, and sure. Finish. So as you can see, we have right here, I've got, this is a better view of the file. Just to give you an idea of what kind of data we're dealing with. I've got what's the marketplace, what's the customer ID, review ID, what's the product ID, what's the product parent, I don't know what that means. What's the title, so what's the book, category, star rating, how many helpful votes, total number of votes, and so on and so forth. Oh yeah, and then the review date. So yeah, so all of this data is in this TSV file. Zoom in for you again and clean it up. Yeah, so if I do, all right, so now if I do awk,
There's somebody in the law.
so if I do awk print one book reviews, so what I'm doing is I'm piping the head out and then I'm printing the first column. Because when we said that awk refers to each line as a record and each column as a field. So we're printing out the first column. And so we get from the head, we get marketplace. And so if I do print one and then print two, I can get the marketplace and the customer ID. So, and then, but I can also do, $3, $4, $5, and so on. But what if I just want the last column? I don't know, what the last column number is. For that, there is a handy expression in awk called NF. And NF will give you the last column. NF, from what I understand, is number of fields. And so that returns the number of fields in a record. So if I want to then, I think if I go to, all right, so let's do this. Let's do print 6. And so that's that column is the product title, which is right here, column F. So if you notice, it's not printing it. I think it's not looking that good because product title, there's more than, there's a lot more than just the title is not just one word. There's a lot more in the product title. And that's because the default separator in awk is white space. Awk assumes that the fields in a record are white space separated by default. And that's really good when you are, let's say, playing with a log file where you will have your, you'll have timestamp and then you'll have certain information and then it's timestamp space, information space, information, so on and so forth. And so that you can use awk to filter out the data based on white space. And that's really good by default. But what you can do is in cases where your data is not white space separated, you can tell awk what the field separator is. And in our case, it's tab because this is a TSV file. So what we can do is we can say awk dash f, and then I pass in field separator slash t, and then then the usual or print. Print 6 book reviews TSV. There you go. So now we get our product titles, you know, and so that's that's how we sort out the tab separated values and tell awk to use tab as the separator, not white space. And so, like I said earlier, this is how we print the last column. What I can also do is I can go, well, give me last but two. And just to show it cleanly, we'll also combine the tab separation. So we'll say print $NF NF, and then we'll also say, well, separate that with tab to make it look clean, and then pass me $NF -2. Let's see. There you go. So we got so that's our last column. That's the review date is our last column, and then review headline is the last but two. Yeah, last but two. So that's so now what we're doing is we're sort of like sorting out the data the way we want to do it. Now, so in this case, what I'm doing is I'm defining my delimiter right here, and then I'm printing the last column, and then a tab, and then followed by the second before the last column. Now, what if I want the number of records? I can say, well, all right. You can go right here. I can just add NR and trying to clean my act here as I go. I throw in another tab, and because we're only passing the head and not the full file, we're getting the records, the first 10 records. And so I just got like a nice fancy serial number that, okay, this is record one, or well, I guess, yeah, record one in this case, two, and so on and so forth. So this is like a very basic, usage of awk to just get data out from something like a TSV file, or if you want, normally a lot of times, like even I during my day job use a lot of grep when I'm parsing through logs, but when I need to do something a little more complicated, I tend to use awk, although I will admit that because of the amount of my muscle memory is not there for awk yet, so I still lean towards grep when I'm in a pinch, instead of learning more of awk. So if I miss something here, or I apologize. So once you start using awk seriously, you will use awk with pattern matching a lot of times. So in this case, let's say, for example, I want to see, well, how many, since this is a a database of book reviews. I want to see, well, how many guides are there in this book, in this list of book reviews. So what I'll do is we'll go back to this command. And then, so we have our tab separator, and then I'll say, well, give me anything that starts with guide, like so. And so that should return. Wait. I got stuck. No, live coding. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, all right. So in this case, well, now I know what I did. Okay. What I did was I searched for the word guide anywhere in the record, and then I just printed out what I was printing out earlier. And so, let's see so these are the records that I get out of it. But that's not helping me a lot because I did not print out the right columns. I don't think I printed out the right column. T and F. I think it's number 6, which is the product title, and then number 8, which is star rating. All right, give me 1 second. Yeah, okay, sweet. All right, there you go. So this is giving us everything that has the word guide in the book title. And then we are also pulling out the star ratings. So, all right, so that's awesome. But then what if I only want to see books that have 5-star ratings and not all, like I don't want books that don't have a 5-star rating. So I can, in that case, I can do something like this. I can say, well, let's write this a little more cleanly. So I'll say arc-f, and then go back to the /t, and then I'll say, I'll start throwing in my conditions here. I'll say $8, which is, I know is my reviews, or is my stars. 6, 7, 8 is my star ratings column. It's got all integers in it. So that's $8 equals, it is integers, but we're passing it as string. So I'll say 5. So reviews is 5. And then I want, as the word guide in the name. And then we define our print statement. So we say print number of record, or record number, $6, which is the name of the book, and then $8. Gotta pass in the file. There you go. So I get a CompTIA certification all-in-one guide. It's got 5 stars. Got rocks and fossils. So I can keep filtering data. And if you notice, what I did is over here, you can chain multiple conditions. So I said the star reviews is 5 and the name has guide. We have to make sure that it prints out the column the columns that we want to see, obviously because we want to see them, but then also this is, we're passing in guide, but we're not saying where is it. So in this case, we will search for the name guide in column 6, which is the name of the book. So now if I want to do some string formatting, I can do some Python style string formatting. And this is a long command line. So I'm just, instead of typing it, I'm just going to copy paste it right here. Okay, so same thing as before, I have my tab separator. And then instead of using print, I'm using printf. And then you can see I've got a lot of percent %s and then as placeholders, and then these are the values that I'm filling in. So when I do that, I get my I get the same thing, but now I'm using print. What I'm using is print formatting in this case, or sorry, string formatting. Yeah, and so you can use awk to do a lot of other things. This is just an introduction of how you can use awk. You can obviously write functions as well. I don't really have a case for that right now. I use it for parsing logs, but you can use it for other stuff as well. Like if you run Docker, let me make sure my Docker is running. Okay, so if you run Docker, you can do something. You do like Docker PS, and then that gives you a list of containers. Or if you do Docker PS-A, then you do you get all the containers. But then you don't want all this data. You just want the you just want the container IDs. So you can do Docker PS-A, and then you can pipe that through awk, and you can do something like not that print $1, and that should give me container IDs. There you go. Yep. Yeah, so one of the things that it's on my to-do, and hopefully I get to do it sooner than later, is to write a sort of like a process to parse logs that I wrote for an application. And this is just an example that I have in my head, and hopefully I get to write it soon, and then I can share with everyone. Is how to take a log file, parse that through awk, get your data points out of it, then ETL it to sort of this ETL process of loading it into a CSV or any other file that gets used by pandas, and then use that with matplotlib to create graphs. So that's one idea that I've had recently to do with awk. So yeah, so that's all I have. If you have any questions, please go ahead.
Very good. Thank you for a great run through on that.
Oh, thank you.
Any questions from the group? Anyone have, we can always replay this, so you might have questions later. You can, will it run off of what? Tail head? Tail or head? Can you, yeah, you can stream anything.
Yeah. You can use tail. You can if you have a, well, you know what? Yeah, you can use tail because you can pipe in data. You can pipe in a stream. So you should be able to do that. I mean, if you, I grab you can just like you can tail a log file and then grab out data that you want to see. So let's say there's a log file that's running and you just want to look at the if there is, for example, like very simple, like if there's a word error in your log stream, you can just do that. You can just do that with grep. You would do the same thing with awk as well. To just say, print, for example, like, print this column based on your delimiter. If it's white space, then you can say, all right, print this column when X, when you see X, and then so it will just print, or you can just say print the line. So, yeah.
Okay, so you can stream anything in. I used it years ago.
Mhm.
Tired. I haven't had the need that much. But
Yeah. I recently discovered, well, when I say recent, like, a few months ago, and so I slowly wanted to incorporate awk into my tools that I use. So I'm slowly getting there, but this was something that I definitely wanted to share with other folks at Kleppy, and and over
Good.
here as well.
Yeah, what, oh, he wants to know what group you're with. That's the
Cleveland Python meetup. So we meet every second Monday of the month online. We talk about Python and Python adjacent topics. So, awk is obviously not something that is Python, but it's Python adjacent. Something that folks use when working with Python development. And so this just an example, but our talks range from anything from beginner level talks, talking about how to do testing in Python, to something advanced, like doing NLP, natural language processing, or machine learning. So we have all ranges of talks. We meet every second Monday of the month online. If you would like to join, you're welcome to. Our details will be on the website kleppy.org. It will take you to the meetup page, and you can sign up there for updates or see what's up in the next meetup, which is on December 13th.
okay.
That's the second Monday. Yeah.
This coming Monday. Yeah.
Oh, next Monday, not
Next
this
Monday,
one,
yeah.
the Monday after. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The Linux Ohio Linux Fest is also coming up this weekend. But if you haven't, tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, cool.
But if you haven't, I think you can do an online presence for like $10 donation.
Yeah, I signed up for that.
Yeah. Now I gave him the $20 and he was going to go down in person, but we'll see. Anyway, yeah, that's coming up this weekend, and tomorrow actually it starts in the morning and then it goes till Saturday. For the most part, what's this? Meetup at okay. You want to talk about it? Anyway. Sure. Yeah, okay. So anyway, the other thing too, if you want to advertise the Python meetup on our meetup or on our email list, we'd be happy to, post that to our email list and maybe get some more participants that way as well.
Sure.
And if you want, send me an email or just send it to akronlug. Well, it's Akron. Yeah.
I can, I'll send a message to Sean afterwards and I'll get it,
Okay.
we'll get the details from him.
Yeah, right. And then we'll get that. So that way you can send that out to our group as well. Because there'll be a lot of people who'd like to join that probably online as well. And that way you can get a little more cross mixing between the groups here. Because we've had several
Absolutely.
Python talks in the past. It's good. You did a couple of Python talks, so that'd be good.
Yeah, the more the merrier.
Yeah, that'd be good. Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, I have to get on that group, might meetup group too. I think I might be on it. I'm not sure. Python on meetup has, okay, yeah. All right. And do you have something you wanted to talk about? What was that?
Red Hat Meetup Group is going to be meeting this tomorrow.
Tomorrow, what
from
time?
3 to 6
Oh, okay.
at the 5820 Rockside Road.
Oh, up in Rockside. Oh, okay.
That's that driving range.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, you know, when you're driving to get off, if you're coming from 480 either way,
Yeah.
it's on the east side of, what is it? 77.
77, yeah, in Rockside.
And the driving range is on the east side of.
Yeah, of the highway.
77.
Yeah,
So when you get off, you would head east.
right. Usually I go right by it when I go by Harry's Steakhouse. So you make, if you're going north on 77, you get off, make a right, go up to Brecksville Road, which is Old 21, make a left, and then go up, and then that place is on the left-hand side just before you get to the overpass. Just past AAA, big building. So, okay, so that's, if you don't,
It's a free, they just ask you to
Freebie?
register.
oh, okay, just have to
And you can
register
find them on Meetup.
on Meetup under what, Red Hat?
Red Hat Meetup.
Okay, Red Hat Meetup. Okay, good to know. All right, that sounds good. Well, great presentation. Thanks for your, and we'll try to coordinate our groups a little bit more on Meetup and get a little bit more participation back and forth. So that'd be great.
Sounds great.
Okay, next presentation tonight is Scott McCarty from Red Hat, and he's in charge now of the RHEL server division. So that's the let's see if Scott's ready here. Hey Scott, are you ready to talk to the group? All right. All right, yeah, that's right. All right. Scott's here, and we're gonna, if I don't cut you off here too much. All right, you want to?
Yeah, what do I do here?
Yeah, nothing. We're just rambling, and you can.
I should join this thing and then share from mine. right?
Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be good.
So where do you want me
okay.
to sit?
Oh, here. Just sit.
Wherever you want. Sorry, here, sorry. Oh, there we go. Then I'll
That's,
scoot yours back.
yeah,
That's cool. My battery should go long enough.
All right.
What time are we getting cut off?
9.
9? Yeah, that's good. We don't want to get too far, much further than that. Yeah, that's cool with me. I'm gonna go out and drink now that I'm off the chain. My girlfriend put our kids to bed. I'm free. She doesn't know it, but
Good. 2 now?
I do now.
Wow.
Oh. Let's see if
Changed forever.
I'm changed forever. Rick, where the hell do I get the Zoom? Is it in the?
Oh, I emailed it.
Did you? Okay, that's good.
Are you on the email list or it's on Meetup? Also,
Oh, there it is.
see which ones get on. It's in a revision or a new one.
Club you join, you never leave.
Wait, there it is. All right.
Let's see if that's the right one.
It's a link of a link of a link.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think there's 2 sessions. I had one.
I may have to turn down your, wait,
Oh, yeah.
I'll turn mine down. Oh no, I just hit that, I think. Yep, I just hit that. Hold on. Where did I just shut? Yeah, that's what I thought. That was 26 tabs. Let's restore that. 'Cause I'm an idiot.
Zoom meeting.
So let's get out. Do I need to sign into this? There, let's see if this works. Let's do it. There we go. Now let's just friggin' click on this link again because everything in web world takes multiple clicks.
Should question.
Oh, you gotta let me in. Is that what it is?
Well, yeah, here we go.
There we go. There we go. All right. All right. Oh, it asked me if I wanted to get out. Let's get rid of this present. Actually, let's leave that bad boy up. All right. Let's see if we can knock this out. Yeah, we got plenty of time. Yeah, let's share that. Let's share that bad boy. All right, let's see if I do this. That looks good. All right. This is I'm only going to go into a little bit of technical detail in row. We can talk about whatever you guys want. But I did set up some slides. So I was just going to give you a quick, like little bit of overview of what the hell Red Hat's been up to. I use hell a lot of this. What the hell Red Hat's been doing, what the hell I've been doing, what the hell do product managers do, and then like what the hell's going on in row. That's like the 4 things I was going to show. It's like a show and tell. But and I got some funny stuff to show too. Oh, and I got some, we may do a quiz. We got some quiz and I'm going to give away some free books and hats or scarves. I think I got scarves and hats. I don't know. I got all kinds of stuff. Which cuss words are allowable? Like, can somebody give me a list of the ones you're allowed to use?
Where was
I don't
the,
know.
just keep that.
That's a disgusting word.
Where was the last presentation you were at?
I was online, a million of them, but you mean like actually physically?
Yeah.
Probably in where the hell was I at? I don't know. I was in
You're
Europe
too young
and then
to
I
be
came
getting
back and I
Alzheimer's.
went to somewhere and then I came back. I don't know. I did one president of the United States before COVID lockdowns, I think.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't remember where I was at though. Because that was like 10 years ago. It feels like it.
Each month.
Each month is like 10 months. All right. So what is that? I keep hearing that's my phone. Oh, okay. All right. So what the hell does Red Hat do nowadays? So funny, 16,000 people. That's freaking insane to me. I started when there were 3,200. I thought that was the biggest company I'd ever worked. That technically probably wasn't the biggest company. I worked at Altel for a while and I worked in American Greetings. But like the biggest like tech company I'd ever worked at, that was like by a long shot at 3,200. Now we're at 16,000. 105 offices, 40 countries, 90% of Fortune 500, 3 billion. I can tell you like in the next couple of years, I'm going to get RHEL alone to 3 billion. But yeah, I mean, we're like a real company. It's freaking crazy.
What was the specs before IBM bought you?
This is pretty close. This is still basically where we were right around here when they bought us. Yeah, this is not terribly different. We've grown this a bit, but it's basically around this. All right, what happened? It locked up. Come on, there we go. All right, so you look. This kind of gives you a little history. Founded 1993, IPO 99. I just looked this up the other day. I remember my buddy Chad Ramesh was at the University of Akron. We were there together in 99. I met him in 97. And he had some inside connection and he was able to buy some Red Hat stock. I don't know how much he bought, but it got up to $105 a share at 99. Then the internet crashed. It got down to $4.
Oh, Jesus.
And it took 16 years from 2001 to 2017 to cross that 105 again.
Wow.
So like that, I warned people about this because like people were obsessed with Bitcoin and freaking Tesla and all this shit. Telling you they could be great companies. We ended up turning into a great company, but you could still lose your ass for 16 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Just my warning.
That's the reason why it's a retirement investment and it's long term.
You hope, but I'd rather get out while it's high. That's just me personally, and then I'll. but whatever. Okay, so first release of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. I knew Tim pretty well. I didn't know the other founder that well, the other guy that did that, but I wasn't around then yet. 2006, JBoss acquired. 2009, Red Hat Virtualization Rev. We were added to S&P 500 in 2009. 2011, we bought CloudForms. OpenShift was released, the first version, which I remember being involved in that a little bit. 1 billion in revenue we got to. I remember when we did that. I celebrated that. I still got a glass at home. Red Hat Storage released in 2012. Red Hat Enterprise, OpenShift Enterprise release. Red Hat OpenStack Platform released in 2013. You kind of just get a vibe for like how much different crap we do. CentOS joins Red Hat in 2014. That was a big hoopla. That was a big hoopla that just recently got unwound, basically. Hoopla getting out. Yeah, but you know what's weird? It's actually getting, I'll talk about it more later. I actually really like what I'm seeing now, and I'll explain that more. Ansible acquired, 2 billion in revenue, blah, 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 3 billion in revenue. You kind of see it, we get acquired by IBM. Paul, which I don't know how many of you know Paul, but a lot of people recognize Paul. Paul was our president for a long time under Jim Whitehurst, but he got promoted to CEO, and that was pretty cool because like I kind of get along with Paul. Paul is wired like Scott McCarty, but making a lot more money than me. But he likes to cuss, and he's very gruff, and he just like tells people the way shit is, and he's like, this is how this stuff works, and blah blah blah. It's pretty cool. Although I've seen him, he was on CNBC today, and he was very polished. He was like, well, that's interesting that you asked that question. I'm like, that's not how you act. But but it was pretty funny. Yeah, but it was fun. So Red Hat is still Red Hat. Like the only thing that's different is I get IBM stock. But I still have Red Hat paycheck, Red Hat email address, blah, blah, blah. There is no IBM influence. All the conspiracy theories, I laugh at them when I see them. All the things that people said about CentOS, I laugh. You could call us stupid or say that we're just learning, we're still learning, but it was not IBM. I can tell you anything you think was IBM was not IBM. It was just Red Hat being stupid if you didn't like the decision.
So you don't have to use Lotus Notes?
No. We still use Gmail. We use Gmail. That was a whole different conspiracy. I didn't have it on the list of years, but I think it was around 2014. Lee Congdon, the CIO, wanted to move to Gmail. And within a day, somebody had set up a web server internally with a petition, like 700 people had signed up a petition. This one we only had like 3,000 people. That was a lot of people out of like, so it's probably like 2011-ish. And I was like, this company's crazy. I was like the employees are revolting against the CIO. I was like, I used to joke at the time, like, if this was IBM, they just fire those 700 people. Like, but at Red Hat, he delayed the decision. He's like, nah, we won't move to Gmail. It delayed it like years. I don't think we ended up moving to Gmail until like 2017 or 2016 or something. It took like 5 more years.
You say instead of petition, someone just stood up an email server.
Oh no, there was plenty of that back then. There was still plenty of that. It's still punk rock at Red Hat. People just do whatever the hell they're gonna do. So like you look at us, this is kind of what it looks like. You know, like there's a bunch of different products. You know, a lot of them have different foundations that are the same. So like if you look in like Rev, it uses KVM, obviously. What was that? Well, we don't own Apache. We distribute Apache. We contribute to it, but we don't own it. I mean, nobody owns it. I mean, all these things, nobody owns it. I mean, yeah, they're all open source.
What is that?
Well, Ceph, Rook, Open Data Hub. It used to be
So they're all in that thing, in that distribute. Well, actually, that's the other question. Like, I know what Rev is. I'm familiar with Rev because that's the open equivalent over. But like, it's like, is Red Hat is Rev like if you get Rel is Rel, but it's Rev, I guess.
Rev is Rev, but it's built on Rel. So like the nodes are all Rel.
So if you
Same with
get
OpenShift.
OpenShift and Red.
OpenShift is like Kubernetes on top of Rel, basically,
Okay.
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But,
Everything's on top of Red Hat. Rel.
yeah, everything at Red Hat's on top of Rel, basically, except for JBoss. JBoss is supported on like SUSE and something else, some Windows. So like it's just Java. So as long as it's supported JVM, we support on top of it.
So like I would, if I wanted to install like Red Hat OpenShift, I would download an OpenShift ISO.
No,
Or
OpenShift is its own monster now. You log into console.redhat.com and you literally tell it where you want to deploy it, and it will deploy it.
Okay.
So like it's pretty amazing. And then it'll even manage the upgrades and expanding out the cluster, shrinking the cluster. It does everything.
Is satellite, can you do satellite with Fedora, or do you have to have a commercial license for satellite?
There's an upstream called Spacewalk that you can use
Space
for satellite 5. For satellite 6, it's Foreman.
Foreman?
Yeah,
Okay,
is the new
okay,
one.
that's what's Foreman.
Yeah, that's the
So I
upstream
remember
for satellite
seeing
6.
You can do that with landscape, and I've always wondered what the offering for the Red Hat, verse, I guess you call it.
Yeah, and then OKD is the upstream for I got it.
OKD.
OKD is the upstream for OpenShift.
Second from the top,
Which one? Over
on
here?
the right.
OKD. Yeah, OKD. Yeah, Ansible still has its name in the product. But yeah, and there's there Red Hat storage was different stuff over time because there was Ceph and then there was, oh my gosh, what was the other one? It's already slipped off my mind, the name of it. I used it a lot back in the day.
Is there any Red Hat SDN?
No, storage. It was a storage tool that you would shard the data off different nodes.
You talking about Hadoop, by chance?
No, it was not Hadoop.
Uh,
It's just a simple little data layer, and it was Gluster.
Oh, Gluster.
You remember we had Gluster for a while? Like I was actually really excited when Gluster first came on, but now we don't do Gluster.
SDN offering for Red Hat?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
SDN, is there an SDN?
No,
offering?
No, we don't have anything
Not
like that.
yet.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. We've went down that road a little bit, but not really. I mean, the SDN that's built into OpenShift, there's like sort of a minimally supported, not minimally supported, a decently robust SDN that works with OpenShift, but it's not a general purpose one. But you can plug in third-party ones if you want to.
SD-WAN deployment under,
Yeah, only within the context of like,
firewall or anything like that. Okay.
yeah, where you don't sell a general purpose one.
So what replaced Gloucester?
What was that?
What replaced Gloucester?
No, Ceph replaced Gluster. We had Ceph and Gluster around for a long time. And I was just waiting to see which one.
Was going.
I mean, how are you going to have two things that are basically exactly, I mean, not exactly the same, but pretty damn similar.
Yeah.
It's at some point you go, yeah, either way. So this is another view of it. You can see like tools up the food chain, like developer tools we call Red Hat Code Ready stuff. There's Red Hat integration, which is Apache Camel based, Red Hat runtimes, which is like Node.js and all kinds of stuff like that. And Java, Quarkus, Red Hat process automation, which is like, Ansible stuff, things like that. Data services, OpenShift, and then we kind of view it as like sitting on top of like all these different clouds and different services, and then obviously like Red Hat Enterprise Linux at the base of everything, still satellite on the side and insights. But I mean, it's big. I mean, at this point, it's a really big portfolio. We're a portfolio of open source solutions now, as opposed to just RHEL.
So that's an actual, the hierarchy, everything's still on real, everything, various labels.
Yeah, exactly.
levels, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all I was going to show you about Red Hat, but I just wanted you to kind of understand how big it is and like how sophisticated we've gotten. But now I was going to say, what the hell has Scott McCarty been doing? So here's when I was born in 1975. Graduated high school in 1995. Those of you that are wise might realize I was on the free 5-year plan in high school. I just did an extra year for fun because it was free. And then I started University of Akron 2 years because I thought I was going to be famous in a punk band. That didn't work out. Started using Red Hat Enterprise Linux 5.2. This very book.
Got the book.
I've got the book. Oh yeah, 5.2. I went to Chad Ramesh, gave me shit. Was like, I got this brand new laptop. I thought I was awesome, and I brought it to Parathon. And I was like, dude, this is 1998. And I roll in like old school. You can imagine like the film that's like kind of like worn, and you're like, it looks old now. But at the time, I'm like, dude, this is my laptop. And he goes, it's cool. He's like, do you run Linux on it? And I go, why? What word did you say? I was like, what the fuck is that? I'd never heard this before.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh yeah, 98. I hadn't heard of it. And I was really mad because I was in punk bands and I was in all kinds of underground stuff. I thought I knew everything that Chad didn't know, and I was completely wrong. So like 6 months of like calling him on the phone, disconnecting the modem, reconnecting. Then next thing here, I'm the product manager for RHEL. So what? Sysadmin, long time at NASA Glenn, sysadmin at American Green, sysadmin at IMG. Then randomly, I decided to change careers in 2011 to get into sales at Red Hat. So I changed companies, changed mentalities a lot. Started meeting with customers, blah, blah, blah. Then I got into technical marketing. Then I did a little bit of regular product marketing,
Well, when you went into sales, basically you were technical marketing.
technical sales.
Yeah.
Technical marketing is more like a global version where you're
Oh.
like kind of doing it all over the world. And then building demos for people, things like that, and then doing all kinds of positioning and messaging. But learned a lot though. I have to admit, I learned a ton doing that. And then got into product management in 2018. So I've actually only been in product management for 4 years. Became a senior principal product manager this year. Celebrated my 10 year. So my 10-year puck came finally. So I've got 10 years show and tell. It says 2011 on it. It's kind of cool. I'm kind of happy about that. So wait, I got to keep getting out the stuff. Red Hat 7.1. Still had that book. That was one I ran for a lot of NASA back in the day. This year we published a book, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8. So my name's on there, which is kind of cool. But these guys did all the work. I just did one chapter, so they put me at the end. And I'm like, I got a book. But these are the gifts. These are the prizes for some kind of trivia. We need some kind of trivia. I don't know what trivia to ask. I don't know. I'll figure that out. 2040, I plan on retiring. 2040. That's a long fucking time. I don't want to wait that long. I want to bring that down.
It'll fly
It's only
by.
18 years.
It'll fly
It'll
by.
fly by. I got kids. I got to work down till then.
And you.
Now I'm screwed. I could
and
retire
How old will
before.
you be, how old will your kids be then?
I want to talk about it. All right. So what the hell does a product manager do? So have you ever seen Office Space?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the guy where he goes, so you take the requirements to the engineers? And he goes, well, no, I have an assistant for that. He goes, so what exactly do you do? And he goes, I'm good with people. And he like loses his mind. That's my job. That's what I do. I'm that guy. So like if we ever downsize, I'm fired. Like I have no good use. I'm like the first one that'll be gone. Yeah, if I see a consultant show up, I'm done. So what I don't do, people will be like, oh, you're a product manager for RHEL. We have this bug, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, not my thing. I'm like, I don't figure that out with support and blah, blah, blah. Bugs are, there's so many bugs across so many products, so many different things. That's not what I do. Code. Nobody wants me to code. I suck at coding now. I'm terrible. It's been a long time. Sell. I don't sell anymore. Salespeople hate me. They get mad at me. They bring me in to talk to customer. I'm like, here's what's happening. And they're like, no, don't tell them that. I'm like, nah, I have to tell them what's true. So I don't do either. I don't do any of those things anymore. Although I've done all three of those things at times. So here's what product managers do. So you look at like a product, right? And this is the way Silicon Valley looks at software in general and like all products in general. There's a cost to create the product. And then there's a price that you sell the product for. You hope that the product is creating more value than the price so the buyer can profit. And you hope your price is higher than your cost to create it so that the seller can profit. And you can obviously move all these things around. And there's times when startups, their price is low and their cost is high and they're not making any money, blah, blah. This is how Red Hat's looked the whole time I was there for the most part. Like we've always made money, always given some value to the customer, taken some value for us. And you know, it's been a judicious cycle where we can contribute back to open source and make money. But I show that there's actually like a difference with open source, right? Like with open source, there's the community set of problems, the buyer set of problems, and then these, I call those market problems, kind of look at both of them. So for me as a product manager, my main focus is on the buyer's problems, right? Like I'm not as worried about the community's problems. The engineers upstream have to kind of worry about the free problems, like whatever problems the community is having and wants to do, that's kind of their world. My world is the buyer's problem. So like, I want to create enough value that the customer feels good paying for it, that they're like, I want to pay for this. This is cool. This does all the stuff I need.
Right.
So that's basically in a nutshell, product manager's job. And then, you know, if you look like community costs, so like, that's the contributions that come from like community. A lot of that is like those dark red boxes is like the community cost is basically a lot of the times it's people like Red Hat dedicating engineers to a project. Then on top of that, you got to think about there's other costs to like package RHEL and then maintain it, because like no open source project on the planet has a 10-year life cycle like RHEL. So we do all this backporting and maintenance for 10 years for like a really old kernel. And what a lot of people don't realize is like every kernel on the planet has some code that's 25 years old, some code that's days old. And if you look at a RHEL kernel, it's got some code that's days old and some code that's 25 years old. But the number looks old, so people think it's old, but it's not really that it's backporting versus rebasing, and we do backporting because it's like spoonfuls of code that we bring back so we know we don't mess up the kernel. And there's some really cool. In fact, I'll show why this matters. Hold on. Actually, I've got a really good. Hold on. Let me show you this. So this is a secret presentation. No, this is not that secret, but I do want to show you like slides 8, 9, and 10. So this is why this is backporting versus, this is one of the things we do. So there's like a cost to RHEL itself. So like backporting is taking upstream changes from the latest, from later versions and applying them to an older version, to an earlier version. Why do you backport? Because you can isolate code changes to fix specific issues. You can maintain API compatibility. You can reduce the risk of new vulnerabilities introduced. This is counterintuitive. This is very counterintuitive. People don't realize that like sometimes using something old is actually better than using something new.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're gonna like this because this is one that like this is the best I've ever seen it explained. This is our VP of product security. He came up with this presentation. But fixes are too complex to backport sometimes. That's sometimes that you need to rebase. Desirable functionality present in newer version, obviously that you can't backport. That's a reason. Lack of expertise. I'll be honest with you. Most Linux vendors, I don't know of another single Linux vendor that has the expertise to backport like Red Hat. We're the only one that I know of. So like that's really one of our key differentiators. Now here's a perfect example. Sometimes when you backport, there are CVEs that our customers never see. These are all examples of CVEs that were in newer code than what we shipped in RHEL, and they never got into RHEL, so the customer never had to update. So look at this. Here's a perfect example. Like RHEL 8 released, with kernel 4.18. RHEL 8.1 released with 4.18-147, a new build of it. Same one, but with backports. Upstream kernel at 126 there is 5.5. Vulnerability introduced upstream. Downstream, look at Red Hat. Still not vulnerable because we're using 4.18. RHEL 8.3, 4.18, 240. We're doing backports and we're getting features from upstream during that red line, but we got none of the CVEs that were introduced. And so then you look upstream, fixed vulnerability, this vulnerability, and then 10.5 months, of vulnerable upstream, for that bug. But RHEL was never vulnerable. So what's better than not having to do an update?
For situations where like what you're talking about, where stability is paramount like that.
Oh, I don't know if that's stability. I don't think anyone wants to get hacked.
Well,
I think you can be the
stability
fastest user in the world and you still don't want to get hacked.
Well, yeah, but I mean, stability in terms of like, not running the bleeding edge of the kernel tree.
Yeah.
What is Red Hat's solution for people who need like, say, some bizarre piece of hardware that's only supported in newer kernel releases? Like, how does that get handled?
So you'd be surprised when you really get into it, like customers that are buying. That's something that hobbyists run into a lot. That is not something that like enterprises run into a lot. You buy hardware from Dell, Lenovo, HP.
And it's gonna be solid.
It's going to be solid. And we've already coordinated with them so that the Linux kernel in RHEL always supports whatever is in their hardware. So like big three hardware, RHEL and that just work together all the time. Now you get into like the cheaper hardware where the things change all the time, and honestly, it's cheaper hardware. Like Super Micro, we do pretty well with, but like you get into like some of the really cheap stuff, yeah, you'll see scenarios where you need like a driver that's just not in RHEL because nobody's coordinated to put it in RHEL because it's not worth it.
Would RHEL still support that?
No.
So that becomes a customer problem.
Yeah, that'd be good. For a cheap customer that is not willing to pay, RHEL is probably not the right solution. They're probably using CentOS or Fedora or Ubuntu or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. It's counterintuitive though, that like sometimes not having to update but still getting features. Like RHEL delivered features during that 10.5 months. Like new hardware support, new features all over the place, like Ruby, Python. No, they weren't standing still.
It's a major advantage for application. I've been on the application side.
Yeah,
So
you just run your own update, things don't break.
Yeah, it's like people running play logic. Like they don't want to have to do anything. The agents work forever, and they don't want to have to change it because they're not.
Because that's all shaving yaks. Nobody wants to shave yaks. You don't get any value out of shaving yaks. I'm a decorative yak shaver. I can actually do shading. I can do like 3D shaving, and like I can actually make like a Christmas Carol story, like in a yak.
You still have your VA Linux box.
Oh, no, I'm just referring back to my time as a sysadmin.
What about System 76?
That's all desktop stuff,
I know.
but that's not RHEL.
Oh, you're
Enterprise.
Yeah, that's not RHEL. I mean, that's all just desktop stuff. We don't try to go after that market. I mean, it's just not our place.
Well, technically, would that be Fedora?
Yeah, Fedora would work there for sure. For sure, absolutely. But we don't try to make money off of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is my point. We don't try to capture any value. If you look at this thing, our price point, our price point for Fedora is here. And you get this much value and you only pay that much. That's pretty nice. You're getting like all that for free. You know what I mean? With Fedora. Actually, I should say up to there. You're basically getting that. Your price point is here, well, your value capture is here as a Fedora user. And that's fine, but Red Hat makes a specific choice. We want that value. We want to give that value away for
How do
free.
you feel you're doing against Ubuntu and what's the one out of Germany?
I'll show you more. Oh, SUSE?
Yeah,
I'll show you in the next one.
okay.
So I got 15 minutes and actually I'm doing pretty good, I think, because I'm now in the 4th section. All right, what the hell is going on with RHEL? I think this will explain a lot of these questions. So 2022, right? We're next year, about May-ish, early May, late April, we're going to G8, RHEL 8.6, RHEL 9.0. Generally available, sorry. I did mention in that slide where I talked about that, like I became the RHEL server offering PM like 3 months ago. So like now I'll basically RHEL 9 will be my big launch, will be my first. I was deeply involved in the RHEL 8 one because I was a containers PM, but it wasn't my launch. Like this one would be my launch, so it'll be fun. But so like I'm kind of looking forward to 5-6 months from now when we'll do analyst briefings of journalists and RHEL 9 will come out and there'll be hoopla and it'll be fun.
Is RHEL
But-
9 going to be available at release for, I think now you can download RHEL without support, can't you?
Yes, so there's RHEL developer subscriptions today that are completely free and you can run up to 16 nodes. Yeah, and you can use RHEL 9, RHEL 8, it doesn't matter.
Oh, so RHEL, is it?
Yeah, a RHEL subscription, whether it's free or not, gives you any version that.
So it won't be like VM where they hold back the top of their,
No.
the top of their product list.
No, it'll be out immediately. Yeah, the way it works is that there's a subscription, and if it's a free subscription, you still get access. It's about,
Just no support.
yeah, just no support. Yeah, for the first 16, and then after that you pay. But so 2024, so RHEL 7 will be end of maintenance, which means it pretty much freezes in place, and then it'll be end of life support (ELS). So you have to pay. This is where you got to like go back to this chart, and you got to start raising this price point a little bit because the cost is creeping up on you. Like what'll happen is this red bar, that dark red one, will get thicker as it gets older. And our engineers are like, this is 13-year-old code. We don't want to backport this stuff anymore. It's disgusting stuff. And so we got to kind of start pushing that price up. And then we got to kind of nudge customers to move up to the later versions. So you get access to anyone you want until it gets so old. And that's at 10 years old. I mean, that's pretty freaking old. And then 10 to 13, we charge you extra cost to like kind of nudge you along.
Is there any client you can think of that has almost like, I guess, almost what we consider indefinite like support?
We don't disclose this, but I can tell you right now, there's still RHEL 6 customers
I'm thinking
that usually big enterprise or government that are willing to just
go whatever.
they're just like, I don't care, we'll pay like whatever it costs to make this happen. Yeah.
Oh, so RHEL 6 still?
Oh yeah. I think we just got rid of our last RHEL 5 fairly recently. I mean, it was not public. Obviously, these were like one-off relationship with a specific customer. But yeah, RHEL runs longer than any Linux distro on the planet. I mean, RHEL 5 was getting to what? I don't know, 15, 16 years old. I don't know how old that is now. I mean, I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, I've been at Red Hat 11 years, almost 11. May it'll be 11 years. And I was at IMG for 4 years. And I think RHEL 5 was right around then. So yeah, it's about 15 years old. So, I tell people, think about moving to RHEL 8 or RHEL 9 if you're on RHEL 6 or RHEL 7. Like RHEL 7 is starting to get long in the tooth. And I tell people to move to like RHEL 8 or RHEL 9. RHEL 8's been around for 2.5 years. Kind of
But
time.
then migrating shouldn't be that much of an issue.
There are tools to help migrate a lot. So Leap, our Leap upgrade tool. So Red Hat's gotten, in the last several versions, have gotten pretty good at helping people get to like the next major version and help them do upgrades. It was something Red Hat didn't do for a long time. We forced people to like reinstall because we thought that was the best way. But now we're moving RHEL at a very strict cadence. And there's sort of two parts to RHEL now. I don't really have it in this presentation, but there's AppStream, which is like the higher level tools like PHP and Python and Ruby and all kinds of things, Podman, my tooling. and then the lower level, like system D and kernel. The system D and kernel is like life cycle for the whole time. We do backports on it the whole time, but the higher level tools, we add new versions, and then honestly, they're in sync with what's on the next version. So like RHEL 8 and RHEL 9, if you have PHP 7.6, you can just like install the exact same version of PHP 7.6 on RHEL 9, move the app over, and it'll just work.
Yes, you really have. Wow.
Yeah, we basically have the trains are kind of like, you know, one's 3 years ahead. They're driving at the same speed, and you can just hop from car to car. Yeah, so we're trying, and we're gonna do that in RHEL 10 and RHEL 11. We call it the RHEL train at this point. Like they come out on the dot releases come out at 6 months, and the major releases come out at 3 years, and that's it. Boom, 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 and we just snap. And we're making it easy. And then so with this Leap tool, it's easy to move people, upgrade the bottom, leave the top basically the same, pull it from the new bit, reinstall the app.
Would a migration from 6 to 9 or 6 to 8, would that be a direct migration or would that?
No, that would be an indirect. Six to, I don't remember that, you're gonna like test my knowledge. I don't think there's an upgrade from 6 to 7. That was the one before. I think 7 to 8 there is. I know there's from 7 to 8, and then 8 to 9 there will definitely be. There might have been a one-off tool at 6 to 7 though. I'm not the upgrade guy. There's a PM dedicated to upgrades. And I only became the recent 3 months ago the PM for RHEL, so I don't know all of. There's like 15 product managers, and I got to kind of keep track of what all of them are doing. I don't know what the hell they're all doing. So like I got to some of the I have to go back and look. But I remember there was a one-off tool for the version before, and then it's Leap from 6 to 7 to 8, 8 to 9. So maybe it was 6 to 7. There was like a one-off tool that kind of helped, and then 7 to 8 was Leap, and the 8 to 9 is Leap. I think.
We'll hold you to it.
Yeah, exactly. Hold me to it. No, don't hold me to it. All right, so CentOS 8 is EOL in like a month. No, not even a month. 29 days. Everyone got mad about this because somebody had written down in a wiki somewhere publicly that this date was the end date of RHEL, and people apparently went back and looked at that and were like, it said it in the wiki. And to be honest with you, this is like true story. Nobody at Red Hat even knew that was there. Like everyone was like, oh, that's in a wiki somewhere, son of a like, and nobody knew. And then the world got super mad. It's like IBM did this, they made Red Hat do this, and I was like, no, we just didn't know there was in a wiki somewhere. So it was really funny. I was watching conspiracy theories fire up, and I'm like, so this is how conspiracy theories work.
Yeah.
I was like, this is really interesting.
No one knows who put it up there.
But I'm sick of people beating me up on Twitter, so I don't. All right, so
RHEL 8 ending before RHEL 7?
what was that?
I mean, how come since 8 ending before 6, 7?
Because-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because we moved CentOS, because CentOS 7, there is no CentOS stream. For CentOS 7, they don't just keep on going as CentOS. We created CentOS stream to be the upstream, which I'll show here in a few slides, for RHEL 8. And so we changed that one over so we could actually, the true reason is because there's only so many people that work on CentOS, and we wanted to transfer them to working on the upstream instead of the downstream. I mean, that's the truth of it. It's just expensive.
From being that you actually work for Red Hat, I feel like you know this more than anybody. The way it was described to me from a couple of guys I work with is that Red Hat is basically prod, like RHEL would prod load, prod production load, and then CentOS stream, if you wanted, where there would be like QA.
I wouldn't call it QA. I was sysadmin forever. I would say you would want RHEL and dev, RHEL and prod, and you want your app to be different between the two, but you want the operating system to be identical. I would say, so I call CentOS as if you want to help develop RHEL. And then if you have an app that's running on RHEL, you should just use RHEL and dev and prod. So it's identical. If you're developing on RHEL, build on RHEL. If you're developing RHEL itself, like say you're a partner, because we work with hardware partners, we give them CentOS stream because they need the latest kernel with all the latest backports. That's not public yet. That's maybe not quite stable enough, but they still need to test it with like their new hardware.
Isn't that what Fedora's for?
Okay.
Isn't that what
Fedora.
Fedora's for?
Also what Fedora's for, but remember, I'll show you. Let me show you a drawing
Yeah.
because this will be easier with a drawing. Let me get through a couple slides and I'll show you that drawing. So RHEL 7 is, you can kind of see where it's at. So like see that 1 to 5, 6 years, and then 6 to 10. We're getting, RHEL 7 is getting pretty long in the tooth, but it's still got 3 years left, which is pretty funny. But it is in maintenance support too. So no new hardware support. So that's where like there will be no, but RHEL 6 is freaking really long in the tooth. It's at about It's at about 10.5. So yeah, RHEL 5 must have been about 15, 16. I mean, it was getting up there. And then ELS support. So these people are paying extra money here to like stay on this old RHEL 6, and that's going to run out. And then we're going to have a giant blowout war with our customers and be like, you don't want to support it. They're like, you want to support this, we'll pay you even more money. And they're like, take our money. And we're going to be like, I don't want to take your money, but okay. And then that's what happens at the end of that. I mean, that's basically what happens. So then here's RHEL 8. So RHEL 8 is still in the feature band, the full support, where we're like adding tons of features. It's moving fast. You'll see at this 3-year mark next spring, you know, RHEL 8 is gonna be at that 3-year mark, and RHEL 9 will drop. And then you'll see, you know, 1-2 more years of RHEL 8 features and RHEL 9 features. So they'll be kind of rolling side by side. So again, the trains will be going the same speed. And then 2 years from now, you'll see the RHEL 8 train will slow down, and it will start to go into maintenance phase 2 support, where it doesn't get a lot of features. It'll get maybe a few little baby features, but not much.
What kind of features would go into a maintenance release?
Mostly just bug fixes and CVEs. But every now and then there's a time where there's some weird edge case where like, you can't do this if you don't add that feature to RHEL 8 and RHEL 9. You'd be surprised at crazy edge cases. So sometimes we'll have to sometimes there's like, Dell's like, we absolutely need to add this one little thing to this old piece of hardware because we changed out this card and we've been replacing these cards and these servers that are out in the field, and it needs this new thing. And you're like, okay, fine, we'll add that.
An example of like a maintenance release, so full support would say when they jump like Python 2 to 3, a maintenance would a maintenance release still get a bump? Like, would you still bump Python, or would you keep dragging that out?
So there will still be app streams, but the app streams will pretty much freeze in place. These application streams, which are the versions of those that sit on top of RHEL, basically.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure if like Python's going to freeze at that 5-year mark or it still goes later. It has its own life cycle. It can do whatever it wants. So this is like for the regular RHEL.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'd have to look that up. In fact, here, let me look.
And as you're the base operating system, you have to support them.
We have to support that.
Right.
Yeah, as the base operating system. Exactly.
I guess the real question is after 9.
Yes. We will not call it X.
You're not gonna go weird, okay?
No, we're not gonna go weird.
Well,
We've already been talking about it internally. It's 10.
Well, hardware basically dictates what you're going to support. Like for instance, PCI.
Yeah.
PCI Gen 3.
Yeah.
Then they went to 4.
Yeah.
Now they're talking about 5 coming out and how much faster things.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And so Dell and HP and Lenovo want to add those. And so do the cloud providers have their own things they want to add. So that's why we add features in RHEL. And I'll show you here in a second about how we bring features in.
Okay, talking about cloud, IBM's on
We're getting close. We're gonna get through.
Power PC chip.
Yeah,
Now you have to compile.
I
for
know, but
that.
we're not gonna worry about power. We won't worry about that.
Well-
RHEL is support on Power, Z, x86, and
Google has
ARM,
their
but
own processor chip.
yeah, but ARM is winning.
It's a transmit.
ARM is winning.
Yeah.
ARM is winning in the cloud. Look at the Graviton announcements by AWS.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is just Scott McCarty talking. I'm not officially talking for Red Hat, but I'm telling you my real opinion. I think ARM is crushing. I mean, I think ARM is what I care about as a RHEL PM, server PM. I want to get it working on M1, and I want to get it. I mean, it works already in Graviton. We have ARM supported in RHEL. You can buy a SKU for that. You can buy RHEL on AWS today on Graviton, and it just works. You just like spin up a RHEL instance on Graviton, and it just works. It's just supported and it works. All right, so this shows kind of like the maintenance releases, and like you can see they come out every 6 months, and then they're supported for certain times. This is where it gets hard. You get like extended update support is for 2 years, and then we call this E4S or update support for SAP, but we're probably going to rename it E4S. And then we have to decide which one of these are going to go longer depending on the software ecosystem. So like SAP will say, we need 4 years out of this, blah, blah, blah. So this is somewhat of a negotiation with some of our software partners of like which ones we're going to go long on. And then you kind of see RHEL 9 will drop in there at that time, and you'll see it'll keep going. And then RHEL 9 and RHEL 8 will both get features during that life cycle. And then you see there around 2024, RHEL 8 will freeze and it will go to maintenance mode there in 8.10.
Most of your apps are going to be like SAP is going to be really totally dependent on the database that they support, that they use.
Yeah,
So it's what is it? Microsoft.
I got 1 minute.
Go ahead.
All right.
Sorry.
Kernel is the upstream. Fedora releases, moves very quickly once every 6 months. Once every 3 years, that snaps into CentOS Stream, which CentOS Stream 9 is out right now. It's basically based on Fedora 34, 35. CentOS 9 Stream becomes RHEL 9, blah, blah, blah. So this is kind of what it looks like, right? And again, if you want to help build RHEL, you use and contribute to CentOS Stream. If you want to build on RHEL, just build on RHEL. Like build on free RHEL because it's free for 16 nodes.
Something I think in the Fedora community, it might just be more of a kind of a rule of thumb.
There are upstream community projects that would argue they don't want to build, they are building on RHEL, so they don't want to build on CentOS Stream because it keeps changing. So they want to build on like RHEL free or a downstream rebuild.
I heard that RHEL is more or less every 4 fedoras or something.
It would be every 6, 5,
fedoras?
5, every
Yeah.
5-ish. So here we go. Look, we don't need it. It's 6 here in this case. 28 was RHEL 8. We now mind you, RHEL Fedora 28 came out. Technically, CentOS Stream didn't start till RHEL 8.2. So that's why it says RHEL 8.2 here. RHEL 8.1 and 8.0, there was a downstream rebuild CentOS, but we moved it upstream so we could continue doing development and then bring out RHEL 9. And this takes a tremendous amount of people, is all I can tell you. Like this is like hundreds of people to get all this stuff to work right. Yeah, well, and then the RHEL, and then just the RHEL release engineering, it's got to be a couple hundred. It's just because think about how many maintenance releases we have, how much stuff we're backporting. The code has to go here, 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 and here, but not there, and blah blah. I mean, there's a lot of work. So we wanted to move CentOS Stream upstream so we can be the same on RHEL 8, RHEL 9, so that this drawing works. And then when RHEL 10 comes out, you'll see it'll just be the exact same thing. And so now we have a system going down. So if you want to contribute to, so one of the things that's interesting now, what I'm really excited about is like Alma Linux and Rocky Linux are downstream rebuilds. You can use them free. We don't care. I think that's way healthier because they're not connected to Red Hat legally. They do whatever they do. We do whatever we do. But the cool part is Alma Linux or Rocky has some feature they want to add because they're annoyed because they're trying to do some weird stuff that RHEL doesn't want to do. They can now go up to the CentOS Stream community, submit changes, submit PRs. We can go, okay, we don't really want that for RHEL, or maybe we do. That's kind of cool. You added some value for RHEL. That's really cool. Now you're not just freeloading, you're actually contributing back to RHEL. And so and Alma Linux and Rocky are starting to wrap their brain around this. Like everyone, they were annoyed at first, but now we're seeing this really healthy ecosystem form where even the downstream free users, just by using it and filing bugs, they're now contributing back to CentOS Stream because like, I don't know if you ever use CentOS, but you'd file a bug and it would just sit there forever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was no place for it to go. I mean, they would come and try to talk to some Red Hat people, fix it in Fedora, wait 3 years, get it down in the next version of RHEL. That's not very useful. Now, if you file a bug in one of the downstreams, the downstream contributors can file upstream and then actually fix RHEL during its life cycle. So, and RHEL releases every 12 weeks, actually. There's actually 6-week windows where we do like asynchronous bug fixes and things for like critical things. And actually we'll do critical things daily if we need to. But like even Podman, for example, we release every 12 weeks. So like if a downstream Alma Linux user is using Podman, they find some bug, they're like, hey, can you fix this? We backport it to the version of Podman in CentOS Stream, fix it, it gets fixed in RHEL and it gets fixed in the downstream. That's pretty cool. That's a way healthier relationship where,
So you're saying
where everybody's moving in the same direction. We're all pulling in the same direction now.
Alm
Stream is not going away.
No, CentOS Stream will stay.
So
Linux is contributing as well as Rocky?
Yeah, they're actually, so there's these special interest groups in CentOS Stream. They all contribute. So like say there's a special interest group focused on cloud. Alma Linux wants to run in clouds. And so they're like, do we want to just build our own little community downstream that's only benefits our community? Or do we want to build it in CentOS Stream and then RHEL inherits it and Alma and Rocky inherit it? So like it aligns incentives for contribution to where there's a virtuous cycle of contribution and use. But CentOS never had that. That downstream CentOS never had that. It's just consumer only, read only, open source.
So CentOS was originally what, upstream from RHEL?
No, CentOS was just a downstream rebuild of RHEL.
Oh, no,
It was for people that didn't want to pay for RHEL. Straight up, that's all it was.
Oh, that's right, because RHEL, you can get the SRPMs for RHEL.
Yeah, so they would rebuild RHEL and then they would just use it for free. They were just annoyed they didn't want to pay for RHEL. But do you see how that's like,
Yeah.
that's not virtuous? Because if I use it for free and Red Hat never gets paid, then RHEL never gets built and then CentOS dies. Whereas now with the two downstreams, and actually there's multiple downstreams, there's Alma Linux, there's Cloud Linux, there's even, even now, it's not on this drawing as Amazon Linux is actually a downstream from Fedora.
Right.
And so like, if we can get Amazon contributing to Fedora, Alma Linux contributing to CentOS, Rocky and Cloud Linux contributing to CentOS Stream, now you've got these other entities actually creating value for the RHEL ecosystem.
I don't think there's anything else like that.
No, this is the most complex supply chain that's ever existed in open source. I mean, this is amazing. And that's what I was trying to explain to people. We're still learning this too. I was in Brno in the Czech Republic like 2-3 years ago when Steph Walter presented this. He's like, here's my vision on this. He's like, I think we basically RHEL is closed source. Nobody realized it. It was open source while it was Fedora. Then we brought in this closed box and it would just iterate. And it was like read-only open source. You could like view the code. You couldn't contribute to RHEL. It wasn't a community-driven project. Now RHEL is actually community-driven with CentOS Stream because all of them are contributing to it. And it's cool. And it's working out the way we want it. I want more downstreams to flourish because now they're helping contribute back to RHEL.
So that would explain what you just said about the closed box iterate.
Yeah.
That would be the motivation.
But what people are mad about with CentOS Stream 8 is that we took away the free thing that they had. And I'm like, then go contribute to Rocky Linux. And they did. They did. Let them do it. And that's good.
But it sounds like that would have been the motivation for CentOS. What they did was that it said it was this tight little box. And everyone's like, well, I want to know what's in the box.
You could see what's in the box. You just couldn't change it.
Now, yeah. Oh,
It was read-only open source. It wasn't read-write. Now it's read-write. You can actually, this is the beauty. Basically, every Alma Linux user is a CentOS Stream community member. Does that make sense? Because they're going to automatically contribute. They're like, oh, there's this bug. Let's file it in CentOS Stream. Because you don't want to have your own bug. Like it creates a virtuous cycle where essentially now we've created
from their developers,
contributors.
They're part of CentOS Stream.
Say that one more time.
Their developers are part of CentOS Stream.
Yeah, yes, their developers almost all of them participate in CentOS Stream. That's exactly right. So the Alma Linux and Rocky Linux developers contribute as upstream developers in CentOS because that's how they change their distro. And then guess who sits in between that? RHEL, inheriting that value. So now I've got thousands of new users that are contributing real value to RHEL. They're not paying for it, which is fine, but at least they're contributing value when they file bugs and when they do docs and when they their time, exactly. Open source is for people with time and no money. Products, open source products are people for money with no time. Now the people with time and no money are at least contributing stuff to RHEL. Right. And the people with money are paying for RHEL. This is beautiful. This is maintainable for decades. I mean, honestly, and I was a little involved in this too, but this is this is supportable for decades. You'll see RHEL 10, RHEL 11, like hopefully, like again, it's an exciting time to be the product manager because I think like 10 years from now, hopefully I'll be doing, God only knows what I'll be doing. I don't think I'll be the RHEL PM, but I'll look back and I'll be like, what we created is still living on. You know what I mean? Like it's going on and it's sustainable.
It just makes sense.
It makes sense. But you got to remember 4 years ago, that did make sense to everyone. We're like, I don't know what to do about the CentOS problem. All these people use it, but they don't help. They don't contribute. They don't do anything. And it was like wasted energy. They wanted to. There was desire among the CentOS developers.
You're taking this is your road. You're going to be telling a lot more people.
Oh yeah, this will be tough.
This is a good pitch.
Yeah, this is the future of enterprise Linux. Oh yeah, this is a public slide.
Oh,
And it's being recorded, yeah. And I'm testing it on you guys because this is a friendlier audience, but I mean, obviously, we're doing this all over the place, but I mean, you can if you want.
Say, should I go get my old Netliner that has Red Hat 90 original version or I have this?
But yeah, I should hand these out though. Oh wait, no, these are shirts. Son of a gun, I thought these were the t-shirts. I know, I thought these were the scarves, but they're shirts. There's all kinds of stuff. We have RHCE. Who's an RHCE? Who had an RHCE? This is like the challenge coin.
Oh, what?
Yeah, this is the good stuff.
I know those.
I made those.
Those are great.
But anybody wants a shirt? I don't know. I got a 4. I do get. No, I got a 4X. I got a large. What do you want?
Large.
You want large? All right, you said large. You said large. You want what's that?
L.
Large. I think there's probably more larges.
There's probably more.
That's medium. Somebody said medium. Oh, medium? All right. There we go. You said large? Yeah.
Thank you.
Who else? I got
Large.
a large. Oh, you grabbed it. What did you want?
Large.
Oh no. I hope I still have one. Oh, I probably got a black one.
I'll take a black one instead.
XL.
Are
Yeah, you guys can all trade.
Are you a large? Yeah.
Is that a medium? That's a medium. Let me see. I feel bad because I think I.
Have more stuff that'll go with black.
2. Come on. Let's have one more large. I got a medium. You want an XL? Here's an XL. 2XL. 2XL. XL. Sorry. Yeah, I think so. You want to try a medium? No. 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 I got to offer him. Do you want an XL? Too big? I know. Sorry. All right. You're next for the XL. Got some big ones too. Got some 4XL.
Oh, whoa.
There you go. All right, I got that bad boy out there. Now let's see what we got left. Got an XL here. He might. No, he won't fit the XL. I got one medium.
Well,
Take it. Yeah. There you go. Oh crap! Sorry. Son of a gun! I knew that.
oh, geez. Oh,
I knew I would screw this up. I'm sorry. I got 2 2XLs and a medium left. Take a 2X. There you go. 2X. It's a 2X. And I got one more medium. Yeah, that's us. Give it to Jimmy. Yeah, that's cool. So you got the secret challenge point. But you can't get those unless you're an RC. But I do have I have stickers. Stickers?
Oh, we gotta be an engineer, certified engineer.
Yeah, those are. I made those when I was in sales, and I would only give them out to my customers that would.
The challenge point thing, doesn't matter if I'm aspiring to be Red Hat certified.
If you get it, I'll give you one.
There you go. All right. I'll take it.
Sticker? Here, pass them along. Here. Oh yeah, here. I've done pretty good tonight. I've got given away. I feel like this is giving like Thanksgiving. Oh, no, but we got to figure out who wants books. How do we give these out?
Yes.
I know, but we got to do a trivia.
No.
Let's do a trivia. Who remembers what year I joined Red Hat?
1976.
Goroff gets it. All right. What year was Red Hat founded?
1983.
You got it.
I know, I've been doing that a long time, baby.
All right. And that was really it. Oh, the only last thing I was going to show is that UBI is another thing. Downstream, if you look RHEL and then Red Hat Universal Base Image, if you do container stuff, UBI is totally free. It's not even like the developer subs. You could just use an unlimited amount. Doesn't matter how much.
question for you.
Yeah.
What about Spectre and Meltdown in Intel?
What about it?
How do you guys handle it?
We patch it like everyone else.
But it affects your.
Affects the performance.
Oh, yeah. Hell yes.
I know.
Take care, guys.
I gotta pay. All right. Hopefully that was fun.
So much.
Yeah, no, thank you for listening to my BS.
You guys good? Yeah.
Nice meeting you. What's your name?
Ian.
Ian. All right, nice meeting you.
Yeah, I've been throwing around the idea of getting Red Hat certified. Because I wanted to take basically wanted to take the.
Yeah.
Considering really, that's really the only.
Yeah, but I don't get my wet normally.